What's up?
Hello, how is everybody doing? Happy Friday.
What's up, Jay Coco?
Shout out to Jay Coco. So how are you guys? Happy Friday. We're finally to the end of the week. It feels like it flew by very
this
quick.
was a fast week. Been a while since I've been on with you guys. So just been a listener the past couple weeks. Stars haven't aligned. So I'm happy to be on.
Yeah, it's definitely been a long week. Definitely. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I got my grandkids coming up on Sunday. So
that's awesome.
I'm excited. Any weekend plans, Aaron?
No. I'm taking the dogs to the dog park. But I fly to where I'm from, so my home state and hometown, on Tuesday. So I'm gonna relax with the wife before I go. Relax with the wife. I'm gonna work all weekend.
Yeah. Well, there we go. That's exciting. I am back in the States, so I'm excited to be doing stateside stuff. So, like, pizza. I already had some amazing Thai food. You know what I mean? Like, I've kind of been knocking off all the stuff that I like about being here. So it's been fun.
Already went through 2 bags of edibles.
Oh yeah, so that was a whole nother thing. I asked my dad, my 81-year-old dad, I was like, hey, you want to do something weird for me? And he was like, what? You've never asked me to do anything normal for you. I was like, oh, you're right. Well, do you want to go to the dispensary and pick up something? And he was like, I've never been before. I'm going to pick the wrong thing. I was like, Dad, you're not going to pick one of the wrong things. I want you to just have this experience. And so he freaking went, man. And he got like a handful of other things that were not exactly what I was looking at but like, could I be upset with him? No. That's my 81-year-old dad getting all the like first time dispensary goer treatment. They gave him a bunch of free stuff. He had a blast.
Did they actually give him a bunch of stuff just for going?
Stuff. And 25% off everything.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Anytime you first go to a dispensary, they give you a bunch of free stuff. At least everyone I've went to.
They want you to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep. So that was kind of funny. But beyond that, I'm back in the States. It's exciting. But the crypto market's been kind of terrible, like dreadful to like think about, look at, like be around or hear people opine on over the last, I'll say month? It's been like false hope every single time that it's kind of like started getting heated up.
Yep.
Constantly.
Like.
But there is hopium. If you guys watched our stream from last night, there's a little hopium for the top of the market, 237,000.
Yep.
The video is coming out tomorrow. The clip of the segment that we did last night is coming out tomorrow at noon. So if you don't want to go through the whole segment.
It's not, it's a little bit better today. I can tell by my portfolio being slightly up. So.
But there's, we had less. Go ahead.
Is the over under, what do you think is like top of the market? Where do you see it at?
Me or him?
Yeah, you.
Oh.
You're usually a lot more conservative in a sense.
I don't know. I've been pretty heads down the last 2 weeks. When crypto goes down, I just keep building quietly. It's fun to watch it go up, but then I just maintain positions. I move into stables a lot. I think I told you guys that I flip between stables and then tokens when I've done pretty well doing that actually. So I have no stables at the moment. So I still think it's going to go up soon. But 7-day chart, Ethereum's up and BNB's up a lot, which is pretty good.
BNB was one of the strongest holders in the last bear market. I think it only dropped 50% or 55%. Even Bitcoin dropped 75.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I don't know if we're fully done with this. I think we're still, I don't think we've seen You guys know I'm more conservative. I think there's going to be more negative price action. So still. So I don't think we're out of it yet.
No, I don't think. I think we're going to get a little relief rally. A night we might go back to all-time high, maybe 108, 109, something like that. Maybe set a new all-time high within the next couple months, but then we're going back down until Q3.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and not the beginning of Q3, like August, middle of August, which we looked at it last night. Is Bitcoin correlated to the stock market? Well, 1-to-1, no. But the S&P overlaid on Bitcoin proves that there is a correlation. The charts are almost exact. Actually, the S&P held stronger than Bitcoin did in some parts over the last 2 years. So that's what, and we've seen this over the past even 3 years now, even in the bear market, where Q3, Q4 is the move. Q3, Q4 is the move, bleeds a little into Q1, but Q1's usually kind of the top-ish, and then we kind of bleed down. We might get a relief pump, and then selling may walk away. Is still yet to be disproven.
Yep.
So that's
100%. Well, let's check out the market update real quick. And so before that, Desert, reset the room, and then I'll hit the little thingy.
A little tiny. All right, everybody, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, tap that notification bell. If you are on X, tag some DGens, give us a repost, do all that good stuff. We go live Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. All right. Let's get a little refresh here. And lo and behold, we are down another 2% today, coming in at 2.864 trillion. Extremely low volume, coming in at only 74 billion. That's why, even though we're getting some positive action out of some of these coins, they're not taking off because there just ain't no liquidity. There ain't no volume to push them anywhere. We got Bitcoin dominance coming in at 58.4, 8.35 for Ethereum, and still less than 1 GUI to send to ETH transaction. We got Bitcoin coming in at 84,279, which is nice to see. I mean, we fought to get back over 84 for a few days. Now it seems to be holding as support instead of resistance, so that's good. We are down 0.2%. We got Ethereum at 1984. Oh, such a good year. We might be experiencing it right now. Down 0.4%. We got XRP at 240, down 1.6. BNB at 635, up 1.2. Only thing in the top 5 with a positive. We got Solana coming in at 129, down 0.3. Cardano at 71, down 1.7. We just can't break that 74 cent level. We got Doge coming in at 16.9, down 1%, and Tron at 23.41, up 0.5. And then we got to check SWI coming in still in 22 at 227, down 3.9%. So let's look at the biggest gainers. Hyperliquid is up 9.7%. Story IP at 3.8, XDC up 2.7. Nexo, an oldie but a goodie, up 2.5. We got Bonk up 2.3. And then that's really about it. I mean, Avalanche down 1.9. Or up 1.9. Let's look at the biggest losers. Athena down 7.4. We got Mantra down 6.9. We got Pepe down 6.1. Entangle down another 6% or 5% now. WorldCoin down 5. FET back to 50 cents, down 4.2. And then just a sea of low level despair is all we have. And that is the state of the market right now. We do
Well,
a little different now, Aaron. We just do the update, and then we do the headlines, and then I do the charts at the very end. Tonight will probably be a little different because I mean we got you on here, so
No, I know. I tune into you guys pretty often. So, what are you buying? So, if you had to buy anything right now, would you be buying anything?
yes. Oh, I was busy all day. I did not DCA. So let's go back to that chart then. Let's see here. What would I be buying? Well, I would definitely be buying something in the red. I still like FET. I mean, FET at 50 cents is crazy. You know, it still is the number one AI play in my opinion, even though FET and the whole switching to ASI still seem to hit like a snag. Nobody seems to know what's going on. You know, we had the big announcement. We had the token migration. Hell, that was a year ago, right? I think that was March of last year when all this right here went into effect. But I still do believe in it. I think it's one of the safer plays when it comes to AI. We may not get a huge return out of it, but if you get, 4 to 7%, 5 to 7%, or 5 to 7x, 4 to 7x, something like that, I think that's a good play.
I mean, that is a wild return, right? So, like,
I mean, in TradFi, that's a wild return. In crypto, everybody wants 100x, but that's not. I mean, come on. The people that are saying, "Oh, I just 100x this or 100x that." Yeah, but are you in the positive? Because did you go negative 100% on like a 40 coins before that? You never know. I mean, some people, you got people that day trade or trade leverage, and you got people that play meme coins. I do know some people that make money on meme coins, but it's not, it's like out of every 10, they'll hit one or two,
Yeah, they're playing the VC game, right? That's like VC investors, they'll invest and they want one company out of 100 to be that massive return, right?
Exactly. But I think Cardano at 71 cents, I think that's criminal. Hell, even XRP at 240. I still don't believe, ever since RLUSD came out, I'm not sold on the narrative of XRP overtaking the SWIFT system. Not when you have a stable coin that runs on the same network for the same fees and is just as secure. So, I could be proven wrong. I don't know why you would want to use an asset that is volatile for remittance when you can use a stable coin on the same network for the same gas with the same speed. You know what I mean?
Suey.
Do you think
Suey.
with their most recent, have you been following that? They did the vote mantra. So they have another airdrop coming up. They had a bunch of Sybils they detected, and they enabled a vote of after the detection. So it was supposed to airdrop 2 days ago, I think, or 3. After the detection, they let everybody vote to determine what they should do with the OM that was going to, be, should they burn it or should they give it to airdrop holders, right? So, and I think they all voted to give it to the airdrop holders. So I don't know if you know about any of this, but do you think that the airdrop's going to create negative price action? Do you think there's going to be a sell-off after that? Or
of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Of
and
course.
Now that it's bigger, so
yeah. But I still shoot myself I shot myself in the foot getting rid of our mantra for Ondo. But the mantra was already up 200 or 300% at the time.
Yep.
And Ondo had topped out and retraced back to like $1.20 when it did that move. So I did miss, probably, a couple more X's, but you can't. And that's probably why that's probably why I don't know anything about mantra, because when something like that happens, I forget about the coin. we'll cover it, but I forget about it as far as what's going on with it.
Yep. I'm still in their ecosystem. I like Mantra. So even just as like what they're doing. So not even just the token. I'm still shocked at token price. I'm not gonna I wouldn't.
I mean, it's like double or triple Ondo's market cap. It just
Unreal.
freaking kept going. Let's see here. So we got, and I mean, I dig it too. You know, I know they're real big in the UAE and everything like that with that 500 billion in real estate and all that stuff.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so we're coming in at 6 billion on Mantra. I bet it's triple Ondo's market cap now, especially with the recent dip. Almost about a 2.5x, 2.6, maybe a little less than 2.5, about a 2.2x, something like that. But we only have 31% of the supply out on Ondo. Oops. As to where we have over 50% out on Mantra. But that's interesting. So it's got a max supply, huh? I mean, it has no max. Do you know anything
theory,
about
yeah,
that?
I think it's fully mintable. Yeah. So they have their tokenomics, which they obviously could change. But as of now, I think the next airdrop is 10%. So it's a huge airdrop.
So we're talking like a 10% of the total supply. So like 180 million.
I think it's something wild like that. Yeah.
Wow.
I could be wrong. Somebody can fact check me, but I skimmed it quickly. I was more concerned with what they were doing with the token. So,
yeah, that definitely have a negative effect.
Yep. So
let's see if anything comes up. What about you, John? What are you thinking?
About which part? I like Mantra. What?
What coins?
I mean, I like Mantra. I think that I would be really interested in accumulating more, especially at where it is now, but I would probably wait until the airdrop kind of bottoms it out. But I think Sui right now is definitely a pick. I also think Walrus on Sui is probably like a really great pick right now. I think it was like 150 or 160 million, maybe 140 million. 170?
Yeah, I think it's overhyped. Yeah.
I never got.
You think it's overhyped?
I think Walrus is incredible.
Did they already do they didn't do the airdrop yet?
No, they didn't.
Might not have done the airdrop
next week. 140 million.
But I was gonna say, I think that it is if they have some like large institutional implementations, then I think that could be massive. But they also have money now, and so it's kind of like they're likely going to be around through the end of the cycle, and it's kind of a leverage play on Sui. So that's where I would look at it like that. But I mean, I don't understand 100% where all of the excitement for Walrus comes from, because like Walrus is basically, I mean, it's basically the same thing as Igon, right? It's just like cloud storage.
Isn't it like Celestia?
Compute. Celestia, I believe, also does the same, where it's like you can loan storage to people and this, that, and the other and get paid. And that's how you generate rewards, is providing storage.
What did you say the Walrus price was?
They raised 140 million in a pre-sale.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at my airdrop NFT and I don't. So is it Wall? Is it this one right here?
Yeah,
it's not.
I think
Tusk,
so.
That's
pre-market.
Walrus the Tusk.
That should just be pre-market.
No.
Yeah, preview only. Okay. So is this the actual one though? That is Sui. Let's see here.
That looks right.
Walrus.xyz.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Oh, whoops.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm not sharing the tab. There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well, they recently partnered with so I talked to these people from Super B or Super Brick, which is going to be kind of like a block style Mario Party-esque type game. So sort of similar to not Decentraland but Sandbox type deal.
Oh, there's another one that just is on Epic as well. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yep, and they're on Epic as well.
Nice.
And they just partnered with Walrus and the Sui Foundation for their like indie game. So I think it's, as long as it keeps having implementations, I could see it staying around.
I mean, it'll
Compute
definitely stay around.
data storage is what everybody's looking for when they're building on chain. If they want to keep it on chain, right? You don't have to worry about it as much if you do it off chain.
Data storage in general is massive right now.
Yeah.
Even in Web 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cloud's way too expensive these days.
What do you think about? Oh, go ahead, John. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in between, why don't we have a word from our sponsors?
Okay.
Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.
There we go.
Wasn't that golden?
Look at you guys.
That was golden, sir. The question I was going to ask is, so what do you think about IMX? IMX is down massive. And it's I guess my question is not like what do you think of IMX in the gaming space?
I mean, that's the only space they're in, right?
Pretty much.
A Forgotten Playland. That's the name of the game that I was looking for. So that's the other game. Sorry. I was actually perusing my wish list on Epic Games. So blockchain game. It looks like Mario Party. It looks really good. It looks really polished. I haven't looked into it enough. But anyway, IMX being down. I'll share a story about my experience with IMX in the last 2 weeks, actually. IMX has a passport. So if you've never used IMX, you have to use their passport. It's similar to the way Flow Blockchain works, where that you have to use their widget. You log in, whatever way. I use my email, and it sends me a code, right? And I have to do that, depending on the security of the site, on every site I go on, or at least once per few hours. It'll have me do it if I log into something new. I logged on a couple weeks ago, and it wouldn't send me a password. Okay, wouldn't send me a password. And I was like, what do I do? Like, this is my wallet. I cannot access it. Couldn't get on my wallet. So I opened a ticket with IMX, and they said, have you checked your spam and block sender list? I contacted my email provider even, per their request. It's totally fine. I wasn't getting an email. They said I wasn't getting an email. So I messaged, this is me going back and forth for about a week. They finally go, oh, it's on our end. You should be good now. So I couldn't access my funds for a week. They had me go and do a fuck ton of shit. It was the most frustrating experience. IMX fucking sucks. Interestingly enough, we were talking with IMX at another project. And while I was talking with them about building on IMX, this happened. Am I ever going to send a user in one of my projects to deal with something like that? Fuck no. They can fuck right off. I ghosted the email chain because it happened while we were talking with them. It was like, what the fuck? And I just swore a lot, so sorry, but it was the most frustrating thing I've ever seen. Interestingly enough, too, the grant that we were getting offered, I got offered a grant from IMX about 3 or 4 years ago. Right? Terms were absolute dog shit. They were terrible. The milestones you have to hit are unreal. You're not ever going to hit them. They never actually have to pay them out. They'd probably give some of their bigger projects better grants, but the grants, exact same thing. It was terrible. The terms were awful. Absolutely terrible. I would never recommend signing. You're never going to hit them, and then you have to deal with their infrastructure, which the user experience was garbage. Like, now I'm bad-mouthing them, right? Publicly. which I rarely do for projects. The one thing they are doing right is their gem and go-to-market campaign. And they have some really cool games, like Raven Quest. Raven Quest is a good game. It's like old school RuneScape, but built out very, very large. Check it out. It's free to play. They just launched. But they also, I think, are on Ronin. Could be wrong with that. But that game is really good. Treeverse, I think, is on IMX. They just launched. They're on mobile. That game's pretty good. But no, I would never recommend building on IMX because the user experience for me was dog shit. And I play games, right? I was actually at 2 of the articles I brought up for us to chat about games. So price action aside, the user experience was terrible. Speaking of their gem platform, you can go on and claim daily gems. For about a week, it wasn't actually confirming my gem claim, even after I fixed all the login stuff. So no errors, nothing about it posted anywhere. It just wasn't working. So their user experience is horrible. So from a price action standpoint, that makes sense. I wouldn't want to build on them if I were a large studio because of the issues I'm having. So the thing that I think they're getting a lot of traction is they do really good acquiring projects, right? They'll just like say, hey, it's not exclusive. You might as well sign. But then you have to integrate their stupid login thing. And then you as a consumer have run into issues and then you can't do anything about it. I literally could not access the funds I had in my wallet. So is that Web3 native? No. Like, in my opinion, obviously it's a custody solution, right? So, but to play, you've got to use it. So right. I don't like it. I don't recommend IMX. I do like a lot of the games on IMX, but I will tell anybody after that experience to not use them. This is years in the making, right? I've been interacting with them for years. So I'm finally, that was it. That was the last straw. I was like, nope, I'm done. So.
Okay.
So
well, J Chains, there's your answer from somebody who has been in the IMX ecosystem. So the reason I said that is because IMX was being talked about on his YouTube channel yesterday. And he said, if there's any gaming guys or anything that know
they're crushing
about it, you know what I mean? So I figured we'd ask you, and that was definitely an answer.
Yeah, I mean, they're crushing with the games they're getting, and the games are actually starting to come out, and they're fun, right? Like, I've been playing Raven Quest here and there, and it's a game that I can go on and I can do, like, one quest in 10 minutes and then, like, log off. Like, it's a traditional MMO. It's an MMORPG. It's plays well. It's pixelated, so they threw a lot into it. There's, like, farming, shipbuilding. It's huge. Like, I've barely gotten into it. I've barely scratched the surface. And there's a lot of other games that are starting to come out, and they look good. They really do. But the fact they're on IMX is, I think, limiting, to be honest. So I don't like their infrastructure. I don't like their team. So the Grant team was nice. They were nice. So nothing bad against them. Their terms are just awful. They're not incentivized enough for you to build on them.
So would you say then that comparison to Ronin, do you think like IMX definitely like fails compared to Ronin? Because Ronin has been getting a lot of Polygon based projects moving over there, and I mean we both know about Sunflower Land, but there's many more than that, like even DeFi DeFi Kingdoms and some of these other things that were like big games when they first came out started pivoting or moving or adding support for Ronin and have like slowly gone over there. Have you had any experience with Ronin? Do you like what they're doing?
Yeah, Moku's coming out soon for Ronin. So for those of you that know that ecosystem, and I think, like I said, I think Raven Quest is actually on Ronin too. Somebody can correct me on that. Ronin, I think, doesn't have the marketing budget and acquisition power that IMX has, but I think that they're delivering it in a better sense, right? Like I like most of my interactions on Ronin. I'm following Moku, right? Like I'm excited for things to continue to come out. They did a really good, like if you were interacting with their ecosystem as a whole, they did a Virtual's protocol airdrop of one of the tokens on Virtual. They've done a lot of integrations recently. I think they're handling themselves a lot better. Their push to get DeFi Kingdoms obviously built on Harmony. I've actually spoken with some devs that worked on that when it was on Harmony. It literally kept the Harmony chain alive. I don't think is as big of a deal. And they realize that. They're like, hey, we got this, but it isn't what we expect it to be. Let's go a little bit wider. I like where Ronin's going, and I would hope that they overtake IMX in their staying power. Their wallet's easy to use. It's familiar, right? Like it's a crypto wallet. and they have that like the same exact sort of login if you don't like using a wallet. Mavis Link or Sky Mavis, which is the company that develops them, they have like you can log in with email and they'll give you a smart account abstraction, right? Which is what you're forced to use in IMX. But so I like it a lot. I really like Ronin. It's funny you brought that up. I think that's a really good comparison. IMX is doing better than them right now, but I see Ronin potentially overtaking them if they continue down this route. I think they're doing a good job.
So
That's
who's
awesome.
who's the biggest player when it comes to Web3 gaming then? What chain?
It's IMX probably. AVAX is trying to make a play for Web3 gaming. There's a lot of games on Polygon, but I think with some of these releases, IMX just has the numbers, right? Like Ronin has Pixels, which is a huge game. They have Axie Infinity. They're coming out with a new Axie game. So I don't know if you guys knew that. You can sign up right now.
Okay.
They have Forgotten Runiverse, which I'm actually it's one of the articles, so I'll talk about that in a second. Corora Wilds, which did just delay their second alpha. But those are some major games. I would say it's really scattered. Blockchain gaming is all over. The ones winning are I think there's a lot of gaming chains starting to win. I know there was a few other games like Ancient 8 and Oasis, but they need to get a little bit more traction. I like the team over at Ancient 8. I like some of the games there. Fableborn, that's another game on Ronin that I played. But Forgotten Runiverse, I mentioned them really quickly. MMO, they ran their event, Crashed the Runiverse in January, where you like try to get as many people on. It was a load test, right? Like they just got approved for dev on Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. So that was the article I read this morning. Yes. And that's a Ronin chain game. It's an MMO. It's pretty good. They've been around for a while. That's awesome. On top of that, Bornless, which is a first-person horror shooter, also just got approved, I think, for Xbox and maybe PS5, like PlayStation. So it's called The Bornless, but it's actually you can wishlist it on Steam and Epic. So it's really cool. I like the game looks cool. I don't know enough about it, and I don't know where Bornless lives on. So, but I don't know. Right now it's IMX for sure. They just have the numbers. They have all the games. They have the marketing power. But I think people are going to run into the same issues I ran into and then not want to use IMX anymore. So unless they fix it.
Okay.
I like
There
it.
it is. Well,
I like it. Well,
if you want, we should try and get you on J Chain's podcast when he does gaming.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to chat. I'm still obviously very plugged into the gaming scene. So
right. All right.
All right. So I have a couple of articles. I'm gonna just fly through them and then I will pop over to Aaron and hear what you've got.
Sure.
This one I thought was pretty cool and bullish, right? So we have Tether engaging with the big four accounting firms on independent audit. Tether has had a lot of criticism about what actually is the reserves for their token. And so now they're basically trying to prove it with the big four. The big four accounting companies of the United States used to never engage with anything that has to do with crypto. Now that there is some regulatory clarity, they're engaging with it. So I think that this is a massive step because one of the things everybody always talks about is like, well, when Tether collapses, then things are going to be tough, right? Well, if we can get this full audit from one of these trusted companies, I think that that's going to be one of the most bullish things that will basically kill that black swan event from occurring. So I'm excited about this. I think this is cool. And what do you guys think about it, or if you have any thoughts?
Go ahead.
I would rather see a company like Deloitte do an audit on a stable coin than Certic or whoever that company was that scammed Kraken out of like $30 million. With Certic, right?
I think it was Certic.
I mean, so if we want TradFi to take a stable coin seriously, then they're going to want an accounting from people they know. And they know Deloitte. I don't know what the other accounting firms are, but even I know Deloitte, and I know nothing about TradFi. So that's my opinion.
There we go.
I don't like USDT.
And then we talked about dirt.
So
you gonna let Aaron finish?
No, you were good. We're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, go ahead.
I
was going to say, I thought that this was awesome.
So,
are you lagging, John?
So you're worried about the reserves? I must be lagging behind you guys just a little bit.
Okay.
But we talked about Durbit a little while ago that they were.
Let him get into Durbit.
All right.
Okay. Aaron, go. I'm going to come right back.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't like USDT?
No, and I think I've talked to you guys about that. If I ever get it, I convert it to USDC, which I think is the lesser of two evils. But I think stables provide a lot of question marks, right? How is a stable that reserves alone for USDT is scary, but we see articles every day almost about them minting more USDC, which doesn't fix the problem that I think stables are trying to solve, which is, and they don't claim that they're trying to solve this, but we should be trying to solve, how does this go against inflation, right? Like that's where, if we just keep minting the same way the Treasury does, I don't know. I don't like the way stables are.
But it's not just mint though, because they burn USDC also, correct?
I think they do, and maybe that's just the media skew. USD.
They mint, so that's always been the thing in crypto. So like, if you see USDT mints, 100 million in stables, or USDC mints 100 million in stables, that's because there's a bunch of massive buys getting ready to kick off.
Yep.
And then as it's sold, then they burn it, right?
Yeah, redemption. They just redeemed 50 million.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you're right.
So, and I believe that's how most, I don't want to say most of them, because I believe that's how USDT and USDC work. I don't know about DAI and all the other ones.
About this is that, yes, it's pegged to the dollar, but do you remember when it depegged slightly when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed because they held such a large supply?
Yes.
That's also another worry. But I don't know enough to talk to that, where who the holders are. So like, I don't know if there's other major holders where it could depeg the token. It's also not FDIC insured, but I mean,
USDC is.
I don't think it is.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. On Coinbase, USDC is FDIC insured up to 250K or whatever the max FDIC is.
Yeah. It should be.
Let me rephrase that. On Coinbase, not the actual, it would be up to the exchange,
But yeah, that means you're leaving it on an exchange. And I mean, my brain omits leaving tokens on an exchange, not your keys, not your crypto. So,
right.
But that is cool. Sure. I didn't even know that. So that's why they give you the yield on USDC, right? They give what, like 4%?
Right.
Yeah.
So like even
that's cool.
Coinbase. So I don't really like leaving coins on exchanges, but being a US citizen and having a Coinbase account and having Coinbase One, I feel it's almost as safe as having it in the bank.
Have you
because
been
all
on...
of my crypto is up to $1 million.
Have you been on when they've frozen the platform? How long have you been in crypto? Have you ever been on when they've done a freeze?
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, for sure. You don't keep all your money. But what I'm saying is, it's like you said, USD is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Coinbase is the lesser, because the banks can do it too.
Of course.
If there, I mean, they did a freeze, right? On what was it, Silvergate and stuff like that. Yep. They can stop you. They just turn your ATM card off.
Yeah.
So there is no, so the banks can do it too, but for sure, Coinbase has horrible infrastructure.
Yeah.
Horrible when it comes. Anytime there's mass volatility in the ecosystem, Coinbase goes down.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think having someone there is fine. It's like I forget who I was talking to. Oh, it was Machinist. We were talking about 401ks yesterday and
Right.
bonds. And I was like, yeah, like I've got way too much of my portfolio in crypto. Obviously, big believer in the technology. So I started buying bonds recently. Like I'm DCAing high yield bonds.
Right.
And same thing, I think like diversifying your crypto and making sure it's secure across different platforms is always great. So
Right.
having some in Coinbase, I don't think is a bad thing. So I probably
Right.
should. I didn't know they were insured. That's interesting.
Well, so if you have Coinbase One, that's their,
Yeah. There's
protection program, $30 a month. But even without that, your USDC is like 200. It's FDIC.
Yeah, that's
USD
cool.
and USDC is interchangeable on Coinbase.
Yep.
Like even when I off ramp to my bank, if I go straight to my bank, I can off ramp USDC. I don't have to convert it to USD.
Yeah.
And then off ramp it. You just off ramp USDC. They do the conversion on the back end, and boom, it's in
There's
my
no
account.
fee either, right? Like you said, to most banks.
1 to 3 days is no fee. Instant. Sometimes there's a fee. Sometimes there isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what because I know I've went on there and it said I've had to do an instant before. And it was like, whatever, $18 or $19. But then when I hit authorize or whatever like that, then it ended up being $0. So I don't know if that's because I have Coinbase One. I don't freaking know. I have no idea.
I use it as my off ramp as well, and I haven't paid fees on it if I convert to USDC, and I just wait.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The 1 to 3 days is totally free.
Yeah.
It's totally free. It's only the instant that I found. Sometimes it costs money, sometimes it don't.
Yeah, I guess that's cool. That's cool. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
And then you get the Coinbase card, and you never even have to go to your bank unless you have to do ACH. Because you can just throw whatever. You can go withdraw money, credit card. I don't really use mine, but I have one for just in case purposes.
Are you getting a MetaMask card? Can you in
Yes.
the States?
I don't know if I'm sure you can. It's Visa, MasterCard.
Yes, you can.
I don't think they would offer Visa Master outside of the States.
Does it work the way I'm imagining, where it will just convert your crypto, or do you have to maintain like USDC? Do you guys know how it works?
It converts it, and you can use any of it in any of the wallets that are attached to your MetaMask. And the guy that I was talking to on the team over there, he basically said that it's very different from the Coinbase, like the way the Coinbase card works.
Yeah.
Or the crypto.com card, where like they take it and they convert it. They have like a partnership where there's like an instant conversion with the purchases.
MoonPay? Is it MoonPay?
I don't think it's MoonPay. I think it's actually MasterCard and probably one of their subsidiaries.
If it's MasterCard, that would be the patent that they probably filed. Yeah, I think they have a few blockchain patents, but that would be one of the early ones, I would guess. That's really cool. See, that's a card I would use, right? Like, there's the only intermediary is
and they have account abstraction.
Card provider. Yeah, that makes sense.
I like it.
Huh.
Yeah, I want one.
I might get one, but I don't really keep too much. I mean, I guess I would have to put stuff in my MetaMask. I don't really like using. I don't really do too much on Ethereum anymore. So it's very rare.
Does it support only Ethereum?
Well, I
no,
guess
anything. They have a Solana integration, and they have a Cardano integration as well.
There you go.
MetaMask has Cardano.
Yeah.
They have.
I don't know if it does immediately right now, but I know that they.
Well, that was the question.
Well, they might be able to do snaps. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with like MetaMask snaps. Yeah. Then you can.
Well, I heard Bitcoin was coming to MetaMask.
Bitcoin is coming to MetaMask too, but you can add, you can basically add any wallet any chain integration on MetaMask. It's just like the ones that they have automatic have to go through a whole bunch of different rigorous security screenings before they make them like default for everybody.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm bullish on that card. I think that it's cool. But Aaron, do you solo mine?
I have one here that's why this is up. I have a Mac Mini, and so I have to finish setting it up, but I am going to probably have it done over this weekend. So slightly. The only ones that I did were I was messing around the D-Pin ecosystem for a while, but I wanted to see what they got access to. So there's a lot of those D-Pin apps that you'll get, the extensions are pretty predatory. So you should check what they're pulling, like Grass. You should actually look into what Grass is pulling from your computer.
Okay.
But the only other one I solo mine is X Protocol. So, which is a gaming chain. I won 2 nodes there, and I won 2 phones actually, and I do solo mine there.
That's awesome. The reason is because I've got an article that says that a Bitcoin solo miner hit the jackpot, scoring a $266,000 reward.
Yeah, that's super unlikely, and you're not. It's not good to solo mine BTC, so you won't ever get that. It's so rare. So, but it can happen.
I was gonna say, sounds pretty cool. I mean, I would be pretty happy if like one day, like you probably wouldn't even realize when it hit. You'd just be like, "What?" You come back.
Is it still? Are blocks still 3.5 Bitcoin, or are we down to 1.75?
How much Bitcoin? Let's see. 3.125.
3.1. Oh, that's what it was. 3.125. Okay.
Yep.
Down from 6.25 down to 3.125. Okay. Wow. That's
With the
crazy.
next halvening, it's going down enough so that I don't think price has gone up enough. So we might actually see another, even with the last halvening, we saw liquidation of a lot of miners, like the what's it called? The ASICs, the rigs.
Right.
So I think we'll see it even more because that's just, it's not enough money, I don't think, when it's, a little over 1.5 for them to be running these with the competition out there. So it might actually be beneficial to run solo miners after we see that liquidation. So I'd wait for the next halvening.
All right. I like that.
What is the cost right now?
Of an ASIC miner?
No, to mine per Bitcoin. You know how they have the average cost?
I think it's like 60K.
In China, the second largest country hash rate, the average domestic mining cost of 1 Bitcoin is 50 grand.
Yeah.
So
okay, so I'm wrong. So
the cost is still good.
Yep.
I don't know when this is from. This is just the AI generated.
I thought it was closer than that.
It was higher than that. I bet hash rate came down. Daily mining profit, $9.71. I'll bet CoinGlass has the.
I see one around 80K.
Yeah, let me
but
go to
that's
CoinGlass.
a little bit older. So yeah, I was wrong. If it does get closer, price action just needs. Price needs to go up, which is how it was built anyway, right? So price needs to go up for it to be worth mining.
Right. Come on. Crypto app, supercharged data. Damn it.
And then the other thing I was going to mention is Coinbase is talking about buying Deribit. I think that we actually had an article about Deribit getting ready to get like acquired a while back. And they were talking about like 4.1 billion. I think that was what they were looking for.
That's just the derivative exchange, right?
Yep.
But it's the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
Deribit's massive.
Can we use it in the States?
I don't think we can use any because you
Between-
got so Binance, Deribit, and OKX are the top three. And then Binance, definitely not. OKX, I doubt it. Maybe if you're an accredited investor, you can use Deribit.
You guys talking about the OKX hack, right? I think I saw you guys talking about that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah. It's still down. Crazy. You can't swap in native in wallet. I just checked. So
PayPal volume.
It's crazy. They did one of those Steady Lads posts,
Yeah.
and I figured it was good.
Good to
No, I
go.
think
Pulling
it's still down.
capital.
that's a good post, though. I approve that.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty crazy. And then recently, the SEC, Hester Pierce actually says that NFTs could be the next crypto sector the agency addresses with an exemptive statement where she actually says that crypto startups should be allowed to raise money with NFTs, which is pretty crazy for our industry where we've been to where we are now, where they're saying like, hey, this should be a fundraising mechanism.
Well, do they say it the same way that other fundraising mechanisms are used? Do you have to be an accredited investor? Because if so, that you can do that today. Or are they saying like we could sell to a consumer the way we're doing it, or other people are doing it?
We can
And
sell
that-
to a consumer the way that we're doing it.
Other people.
Yeah, to other people.
Yeah. The way
Yeah, other
are doing
people.
it.
You're right. You're right.
So interesting. That would be really cool. That means that white paper I think I showed you guys from years ago, my venture NFTs would be legal. So
That makes sense.
that'd be
Well,
really cool.
Palm, so after all this, after Trump, blah, 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 and we're in this new administration, Palm Economy, they changed their pre-sale to where all of a sudden US users could KYC and buy.
Wow.
They got with their legal team. It was like right towards because they did it. So when they went to public sale, my bad. When they went to public sale, they were allowing American consumers to buy, and there was even like a discount for like the first 100,000 American consumers or first 100,000
off.
ADA for American consumers. Were getting a multiplier on what they bought.
Public sale, right?
Public sale.
Okay. So
Public
did you
sale.
get a token when you bought? Like was it an immediate
An
conversion?
NFT. We got an
Still
NFT that
close to
said
a
that you bought
pre-sale.
in.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting something, so I guess that's good, but that's good. That's a great sign. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
So
So I'm looking at the hash rate chart. We're down a little bit from February. I don't know. So what is that? Ecto hash? Here, let me show that. What is that? So 750E, that's ecto hash. Is that what that means? Right here in the corner?
no, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what
But
that
we
would
are
say.
down a little bit. So if the hash rate comes down, then that means the cost of mining would come down, correct? Because you need less power. Because it looks like we've been steadily declining since February.
So
The hash
cost
rate.
would go down. Yeah, right. Because that would make sense as to why the cost is down.
Right.
For
'Cause it-
my understanding.
Because-
And that's the ecto. I don't know what E stands for. You might be right with ectohash, but it's 1 quintillion hashes per second.
Okay.
Quintillion. Holy hell. Exahashes. Exa. There it is.
Exahash. Okay, exahashes. Yeah. So yeah, that could be why the price is coming down, or why we had two different prices in our head.
Yeah.
I do remember. I remember what you were saying that like 6 months ago or something like that. Miners were underwater, as in the price to mine was more than the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, that was a little while. That was a while ago, but that was true. We were in the negative because that was around when they were like 80K. It was getting close to 80K, and Bitcoin was under 80K.
Right.
So, and then they just got to keep trucking through.
Well, they must figure that the long or the short term negative will equal out in the long term positive.
If they can make it through, that's what they probably believe. I think that we still need to see more efficient infrastructure for it to last, right? I don't think we'll have like Bitcoin mining. I don't think will be profitable if we don't see more massive price action. But we have 4 more years after the next halving for that to happen. So,
right,
and 4 more years for MicroStrategy to buy more Bitcoin. So,
are we still in the 4-year cycle?
For the halving, I think so.
Well, for the halvening, yeah. But the halvening, the 4-year cycle is what equates to price increase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yep.
Is that still where we're at, or are you thinking super cycle?
So no, I think we're about to break the cycle. I know we're about to end, and we're almost out of time. But the Ripple stuff could break the cycle. Because I think it's pushing us into altcoins, right, at the moment, which breaks the cycle, doesn't it? Somebody correct me here. But
say that again.
So as of now, with the SEC dropping the Ripple case, aren't we breaking the cycle because the Bitcoin pressure will be moving to altcoins?
No, that's a natural flow of the cycle, in my opinion. Bitcoin goes up,
from where we are now. Isn't that I fuck up the order every time, but isn't that breaking the order that we typically do this in?
No, because it's usually Bitcoin to Ethereum, or Bitcoin to large caps, to medium caps, to small caps, micro caps, and back up. But we're not seeing that. We're not seeing it flow into, because everything's tanking. Bitcoin dominance is actually going up.
I know. I saw that today.
So that means altcoins aren't getting that pump. We can still see a price increase and a dominance drop, which will signal a true altcoin season.
If altcoin season happens now, that means we would have skipped the middle, right? Because Bitcoin, we've gone from Bitcoin, we wouldn't have hit high, mid, low, meme. We would have just jumped right into altcoin / meme.
Well, altcoins are everything except for Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I was going to say, my literal next question was, do you classify Ethereum as an altcoin? Do you classify XRP as an altcoin?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So
for now,
it still is. What do you think the next coin that won't be classified as an altcoin is? And I'm gonna bleed my bias probably with Sol, Sui, XRP, or another one.
XRP before Sol or Sui.
Yeah, I would, if you had to pick those 3 in order, it would be XRP, Sol, Sui.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah. But I don't think Sui is going to get flip a narrative anytime soon. It's still too young.
Yeah,
it's still,
it is.
It hasn't. I would think Cardano
could,
or something like that would flip the narrative from altcoin to, I can't. It is a blue chip, so it's not like it's going to flip to a blue chip. It already is a blue chip. But it'll flip the narrative from altcoin to whatever not an altcoin is, whatever the opposite of that is.
I know the last thing I had, and I know you guys talked about this as well. I think I saw you guys talking about this, but the NFT, and I mentioned this or Machinist brought it up yesterday, I think with me too. The NFT ETF for Pudgy Penguins, right?
Yep. And Pengu. Desert loves that one.
That's so fucking ridiculous, bro.
Oh, so fucking dumb. Look, if it was just Pangu, I could be like, okay, that's stupid. But the fact that it's Pudgy, nothing against Pudgy ecosystem, nothing against NFTs in general, right? Like you guys know I work in NFTs, but what? There's nothing that would make it be an investable asset to that investor class, unless
Right.
Right?
How do you do an ecosystem of NFTs as an ETF? You just market cap?
It has to be. It has to
You
be
know,
market cap.
So that's not it, and especially it's not a it's a non-fluid. It's not a liquidatable asset.
Non-fungible.
It's
No,
not
no, no,
fungible.
no. What I meant, it's not a liquidatable asset. You have to have, for you to sell an NFT, somebody has to want to buy that specific NFT.
Oh, here's a
You
question.
know what I mean?
Do you think that they're
Yeah.
going to do basically the equivalent of 404 with the NFT, like having a specific nominal amount of token that every NFT is worth, and then making it liquid that way by like going back and forth? You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't know if. All right, so like in their ETF, the NFT has like a certain value of the Pengu token, right?
Yeah.
And then so like through that, they're claiming that there's like in liquidity the whole time that you could shift back and forth between NFT.
But then that takes the commodity aspect out of it, I would think.
I also don't think it works because you have to go. It's 2 layers deep, right? Let's say an ETF is liquidated, you have to go from ETH then to a stable or dollar, right? So, correct me if I'm wrong, but that means you're at the price action of 2 different things. Not only the 3, really, the US dollar, Ethereum, and then the NFT itself. So that is, I mean, volatility is great. Don't get me wrong, but that is wild that they want that to be an ETF. It's just crazy to me. So
yeah, hell, when they came out with the SHIB ETF, I was like, geez.
And Doge, yeah,
and Doge. I mean, I can accept Doge.
I can too. I was just gonna say, at least
I can accept Doge just because it's the second oldest coin.
It's one of them, yeah.
And it's an icon. It's Doge. You know what I mean? But SHIB,
the Department of Government Efficiency.
Well, there we go.
They should release a token.
Yeah.
So the Doge, the government. So
Elon should just 51% attack Doge and then claim it and then make it the token of Doge.
Yeah, that would work. I've seen worse government spending. So all right. I know we're over, fellas. So all right. This was good. It was fun to be back on. Thanks for having me.
It was great to have you. We need an update on the bot soon. Third Patriot has been itching to get that update, so we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I will get you one over the weekend, so then you can share it publicly.
All right.
Sounds good.
Let me make note of that now.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a blast, and we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Introducing the relaunch of JPEG Boss Mint, a game changer in the NFT world. This isn't just another mint, it's a community-governed project where you hold the power. Here's the deal. 50% of all mint funds fuel a community investment wallet controlled by boss holders like you, driving collective growth. The proceeds, 60%, go straight back to active participants, rewarding your engagement. 20% powers overhead and expansion. And the final 20% flows to JPEG Empire until the seed funding's repaid. Join the revolution, mint with purpose, govern the future, and reap the rewards.